When the Royal Rumble is good, it's really good. And when it's bad, it's still good. This legendary gimmick match is one of the most anticipated events in the WWE calendar because history has shown that no matter the stakes, something memorable is guaranteed to happen. With 30 superstars, a constant flow of action, and surprises in abundance, the Royal Rumble never fails to deliver. To date, there have been 35 Royal Rumble events, and with the advent of Women's Rumbles in 2018, that makes a grand total of 41 official Rumble matches. We've seen more iconic moments than fans can count, from insane high spots to jaw-dropping returns to unexpected winners. So in this video, we've compiled the 10 greatest WWE Royal Rumble moments all in one place. Starting with number 10, Undertaker's Unexpected Elimination 2002. Every major wrestler has that star-making moment that elevates them from mid-card purgatory to main event prominence, usually by going over a more established superstar. In 2002, it was The Undertaker who sacrificed himself to help build a new name by getting eliminated from that year's Royal Rumble by a very unexpected competitor. The Undertaker entered the Rumble match at number 8 and dominated the competition. And given his status, fans expected Taker to stay in the match for the long haul. But shortly after, underdog rookie Maven dropkicked The Undertaker and sent him over the top rope to a thunderous ovation. To put this in perspective today, it would be like Brock Lesnar getting eliminated by a low-level NXT superstar. For an era that was filled with old school types who were very reluctant to do the proverbial job, Undertaker took one for the team and helped establish a new star in the process. Even 2 decades later, this remains one of the Royal Rumble's most shocking eliminations. Number 9, 2 winners, 2005. This one is memorable for 2 reasons, one of which is much funnier than the other. In 1994, both Bret Hart and Lex Luger were declared winners of that year's Royal Rumble because, as the last 2 eliminations in the match, both of their feet allegedly touched the floor at the same time. It was a unique and difficult finish that required incredible skill and timing from both competitors, and even though there was no clear shot of the double elimination, it did legitimately look like both men hit the floor simultaneously. WWE have never pulled this finish since because the logistics are pretty damn difficult. However, in 2005, the exact same thing happened again, but this time it was a total accident. Batista and John Cena ended up as the final 2 in that year's Royal Rumble, and although Batista was meant to win, a botched Batista bomb saw both men fly over the top rope and touch the floor at the exact same time, completely unintentionally. Luckily, the officials at ringside improvised and impressively made the whole thing look planned. The match was then restarted and Batista picked up the win, but not before Vince McMahon strutted to ringside in frustration. Then, when Vince slid into the ring, he reportedly tore both of his quadricep muscles at the same time, leaving the chairman sitting on the ground like a scolded child as he barked orders at the referees. It was bizarre, confusing, and chaotic, but it made one hell of a great moment. Number 8, Jericho Returns 2013. In the internet age, wrestling rumors and gossip spread like wildfire. It's almost impossible to keep returns or debuts a secret because chances are that dirt sheet writers will throw the news in your face weeks beforehand. Secrets rarely stay secrets for long in the wrestling world, although there is one major exception to that rule: Chris Jericho. Through some alien wizardry, Jericho has managed to conceal numerous appearances over the years. His shocking return to New Japan in 2016 was never leaked, nor was his arrival at the AEW press conference in 2018. However, he has also managed to keep his crowd-popping return at the Royal Rumble 2013 out of the public's eyes and ears as well. At the time, rumors stated that Jericho was leaving wrestling to focus on his music career. By January 2013, he'd been gone from the WWE for 5 months, and it was assumed that he was never coming back. but the crowd erupted as "Break the Walls Down" echoed through the arena, revealing a rejuvenated Jericho in his iconic light-up jacket as the number 2 entrant in the Royal Rumble match. A truly unexpected return, and one that gets overlooked when talking about great Rumble moments. Number 7, AJ Styles' debut, 2016. Debuting in the Royal Rumble match is a big risk. Since the Rumble attracts more casual fans than weekly shows and non-Big 5 pay-per-views, there's a chance that the majority of the audience won't be familiar with the person, and nothing stalls a new superstar's momentum than debuting to a dead crowd. That's why, outside of big returns or gimmick entrants, very few brand new superstars have debuted in the Royal Rumble match itself. But there's one very memorable debut that paid off amazingly well. In 2016, AJ Styles arrived in WWE for the first time in his 20-plus year career, entering that year's Rumble at the number 3 spot and immediately getting into it with top star Roman Reigns. There were no hints, no vignettes or video packages hyping up AJ's arrival. It was a big risk, especially as WWE couldn't be sure that their fan base would be familiar with AJ's incredible work in TNA, Ring of Honor, and New Japan. But fans erupted as soon as the words "I am phenomenal" appeared on the big screen. To this day, it remains the greatest Rumble debut of all time. Number 6, Taka Michinoku nearly dies, 2000. We might have to stretch the term great for this one, but Taka Michinoku's insane bump at the 2000 Royal Rumble was the Attitude Era equivalent of Titus O'Neil slipping and falling under the ring. It looked hellishly brutal and left Taka with a broken collarbone, but that didn't stop WWE from continuously replaying it. Throughout the late 90s and early 2000s, Taka Michinoku was basically a human punching bag in WWE, making him the perfect fodder to eliminate at the Royal Rumble. He and his partner Funaki continuously interfered in the 2000 Rumble despite not being participants, and during their second run-in, Gangrel tossed Taka over the top rope, resulting in a brutal landing that saw Taka's face bounce off the floor like a rubber ball. In today's WWE climate, Taka would have been given immediate medical assistance and the spot would never be referenced again. But this was the Attitude Era, where risk and violence were very much encouraged, so they continually showed the replay over and over again for the rest of the night. Taka and Funaki were scheduled to make one more run-in later in the Rumble, but Funaki had to make that one alone. Number 5, Braun Strowman breaks records, 2018. It's still unclear whether Braun Strowman's victory at the bizarre 50-man Greatest Royal Rumble in 2018 counts as an official Rumble win or not. However, it hasn't stopped commentary voicing Strowman's record-breaking achievements at every opportunity. Strowman completely dominated the competition in the Greatest Royal Rumble, eliminating a grand total of 13 people throughout the match, an achievement only matched by Brock Lesnar. However, Strowman is now the top active superstar with the most eliminations in Royal Rumble history, having thrown out a combined 35 people over the top rope across 7 different Rumbles. This accomplishment puts him at the 5th of all time in total eliminations, behind only Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, and Kane. Number 4, John Cena's superhuman return, 2008. It's only recently that John Cena has become a mainstream superhero, but he's been displaying superhuman abilities throughout his entire career. Not only is he legitimately one of the strongest wrestlers in history, but he also possesses healing properties that spit in the face of medical science. In October 2007, the champ suffered a serious pectoral injury that saw him facing at least 6 months on the sideline, forcing him to vacate his WWE title in the process. But of course, the Peacemaker is no mere mortal, and actually made his return to action 3 months earlier than expected. To the complete shock of everyone in the arena, including the wrestlers and announcers, Cena entered the 2008 Rumble at number 30 and not only won the entire match, he set the record for spending the least amount of time in a Rumble match before claiming victory. According to reports afterwards, only a handful of people in WWE's inner circle knew of Cena's impending return. Number 3, Kofi handstands his way to safety, 2012. As much as everyone appreciates Kofi Kingston, we love seeing him get tossed over the top rope in Rumbles because he always finds elaborate ways to save himself. Kofi's cat-like agility has allowed him to perform some mind-blowing feats of athleticism to prevent his feet from touching the floor, including leaping from the barricade, hopping on pancakes, and using an office chair like a pogo stick. But Kofi's original save, which happened at the 2012 Rumble, and got straight back into the squared circle without being eliminated. It started a trend of Kofi trying to replicate the moment every year, and some attempts have been more successful than others. However, his original miraculous save remains one of the most replayed moments in Rumble history. Number 2, Shawn Michaels goes the distance, 1995. As WWE reminds us every year, Royal Rumbles are all about the numbers. The commentary team are forever throwing out convoluted Rumble stats at us like the longest cumulative time spent in Rumble matches, average number of eliminations, and other efforts of advanced mathematics that most people forget instantly. However, there's one accomplishment that stands tall above the rest: winning from the number 1 position. To date, it's been achieved 4 times, most recently by Rhea Ripley in the 2023 Women's Rumble. But the first person to go the proverbial distance was Shawn Michaels in 1995. It came down to Michaels and the British Bulldog as the final 2, and they both entered as entrants number 1 and 2 respectively. Bulldog threw Michaels over the top rope, but Michaels hung on to the rope and saved himself in what was the first example of this trope in history. The spot could have gone incredibly wrong given that Michaels was sweaty and exhausted by this point in the match, but he pulled it off like no one else could. Shawn Michaels has had no shortage of amazing Rumble moments, but his 1995 victory has to be at the top of the list. Number 1, Edge comes back from retirement, 2020. Returning from a hiatus is one thing, but returning from a career-threatening injury after a decade in retirement is something else entirely. After being forced to call it a day on his wrestling career in 2011, we thought we'd genuinely seen the last of the rated R superstar in the squared circle. But at Royal Rumble 2020, Edge's iconic "You Think You Know Me" sent shockwaves through the arena before a pumped-up, teary-eyed, and more rugged version of Edge appeared as the number 21 entrant in the match. Precious few people knew that Edge would be returning that night, so it was as much of a shock to the wrestlers in the ring as it was to the fans watching. As if Edge's miraculous recovery wasn't enough, Edge then proved that he still had what it took in the ring by lasting until the final 3. The moment ended up being WWE's most watched YouTube clip of 2020 and will remain a Rumble moment for the ages. That's why it takes the number 1 spot here. That concludes our list of the 10 greatest moments in Royal Rumble history. We definitely had to miss out on a few, so feel free to let us know your personal favorite Rumble moment in the comments below.